Okay, let's bring in Caroline Medeiros Roca-Frason, who's in Sao Paulo. She's the climate manager for World Resources Institute Brazil. That's a global research non-profit. It's great to have you on. There's lots for us to talk about here. Let's just start, though, with the issue of Indigenous people who seem to be suffering more than most people around the world, and climate change seems to be impacting them more than most. Why is that?
Well, climate change is like a big magnifying glass. It enhances inequities that already exist. So indigenous people historically have been targeted and have suffered disproportionately with being marginalized and having their needs suppressed in order for other people's needs to be enhanced. And when climate change comes, it only magnifies that gap, that disparity. So the latest UNFCCC, the RA6 report, has issued that the most vulnerable communities, and especially women and children, are going to be disproportionately affected, and indigenous communities are not exempt to that. And today in the Amazon, we already have impacts from climate change happening, and in that directly impacts those communities because they lack the resilience um, to sustain those changes.
You're talking about the effect of the Amazon, and of course we've got this summit going on now involving the Amazon basin nations, and it appears, although I mean maybe something will emerge from today's part of that meeting, but it appears that they failed to come to any kind of meaningful consensus about how to agree on halting deforestation. I mean, Brazil's clearly in favour of halting things. Lula da Silva's got a track record for this. Why have the other countries not come on board?
Well, first of all, it's important to establish that Brazil is very much in favor of halting deforestation and illegal deforestation, not all deforestation. That's an important distinction to make. Another thing is that it's worthy to mention that deforestation in Brazil has skyrocketed in the last 4 years, since 2012, but in the last 4 years it has risen in levels that we haven't seen before in over a decade. In the latest 6 months, those deforestations have decreased significantly by 33%. So that's a big win for government, for the federal government, for Lula da Silva's government. Um, and zero deforestation is a controversial topic for a lot of people, especially in Brazil, but also in Brazil, but for a lot of other countries who feel like a ban on all kinds of deforestation may impact negatively their way of life, their economic development. So we must also realize that the Amazon forest in Brazil takes up a lot of the territory, about 60%. But it is a partial of the territory. There are countries, Amazon countries, that most of the territory, not all of the territory, are in the Amazon forest. So that should be accounted for as well.
Yeah, and that climate summit obviously continues. Any updates that come out of that, we will bring them straight to our viewers. Really appreciate your time. Caroline Medeiros Roca-Frason, who's a climate manager for WRI Brazil. Appreciate it.